Hello, welcome to EDUC 2203 Cultural Diversity in Education. I wanted to take just a real brief look at our syllabus. You'll want to make sure that you do read it in its entirety, but I'll kind of just hit some highlights today. On the first page you'll see my contact information, and if you have any questions, make sure that you call me or email. Email is probably actually the easier way to get a hold of me, and just let me know. You'll see the course description here and the text. I think that several of you have the 8th edition, so we'll work with that, and you'll see later on where I have some page numbers and parentheses for the 8th edition. The mission statement says the Education Department seeks to help students develop spiritually and apply their knowledge of human growth and development, learning theories, research, technology, communication, and the world to develop, implement, and assess learning experiences for all students. So by the time you leave us, that's our hope for you. We also have a conceptual framework that we use to guide us. You'll see this in every course, and these are the outcomes that we hope you have by the time, again, that you leave us. So please take a few minutes to read through their 5 goals and read the professional knowledge, the skills, and the dispositions under each one of those 5 goals. We know that you'll need these things to be an effective teacher. And finally, the specific learning outcomes for this course. You'll be able to identify concepts of culture and the implication for teaching and learning, define multicultural education and its implication in the classroom, express knowledge, understanding, and appreciation of the experiences, contributions, language, frames of reference, and issues of diverse cultural groups. You'll solve problems dealing with cultural misunderstandings in the classroom scenarios, and state appropriate teaching strategies for English language learners. Here are your major assignments and the grading. It also has the due date, and so you can always come back and look at this as, oh, when is that due, and that sort of thing. However, I try to have it laid out really clear in Moodle, so it'll always be in the agenda, and you can look at that, but everything is right here, so you can kind of plan it in advance. Here's a description of the major assignments. You'll have 4 quizzes throughout the course. There's an assignment called Welcome the Stranger, and that's when we're talking about immigration. During this course, you'll do an ESL class visit. This could be if you're a para in a school currently or working in a school. It could be the school that you're in, or it could be another school in the district, or it could be a church-based ESL class visit. It could even be community college-based. So you'll just have to set up an ESL class visit. If you need help with that, let me know and I can help you with that too. Border crossing assignment, and this is where you'll go and visit a place of worship that is religiously, ethnically, or linguistically different than you are. And then using guided questions, you'll write a 2 to 3 page reflective paper. The multicultural literature assignment is one that you'll be starting on immediately. When you have your own classroom, you want to have books that kids can identify with, but also that they grow from. So you want to have books that represent the culture that they're part of, or that they would like to learn more about. So you'll do 2 separate entries. You'll have a picture book entry where you'll read a picture book, summarize it, post questions that you might ask students with it, and so on. And then you'll do the same for the chapter book. The Cultural Resource Bank, you'll work with a partner and pick a culture to focus on and find out all about that culture. And then at the last day of class, you and your partner will report out about the culture so we could all have a little bit of understanding about that particular culture. And then finally, there will be a final exam. It is a take-home exam, and you can use notes, you can use your book, and that sort of thing on the final exam. And then here's the grading scale, pretty typical grading scale. Next is the class schedule and assignments. Again, you can kind of look ahead, see what we're going to be working on, or just to give you a better idea of what's coming. And always you can look at this week by week too. It has all the due dates, some forum questions, and that sort of thing. And it's just the same through all of the weeks, or all the units, excuse me. You will have 2 units, if you notice, you have 2 units per week. Remember, this is an accelerated class. Things have to move very, very quickly. What normally happens in a semester, we're doing in 4 weeks. So there will be an agenda every Monday and every Thursday. You'll need to open up the agenda and follow the activities. Okay, here we have the honesty policy, accommodations. If you have a documented disability, please make sure that you let us know, and we can help with some reasonable accommodations. Along with that, we have the Kresge Academic Support System, and that's not for people with disabilities, but it can be, but it can be just for anybody who wants the extra help. We have both that you may go in, and then there's the online smart thinking that can help you with writing papers and lots of different things. Late assignments, I mentioned this during the orientation, but if you just don't have any, that makes it much, much easier. However, if you turn a paper in 1 day late, it's 10% off, 2 days 20%, and 3 days 30%. After 3 days, it's no credit. Library services, don't forget about the Maybe Library. They have lots of resources, especially when you're doing your cultural resource bank. You'll want to use some of the resources from the library. Moodle, we're all familiar with Moodle now that you've been on it, and the more you're on it, the more familiar that you'll be. Communication, I just want to make sure that you do communicate with me. Things do come up. I understand family emergencies arise, and just let me know those things. Make sure you're always in communication. And finally, you need to be a professional. And the State Department has asked us to put this code of conduct with your professional responsibilities included in it. The last thing is just a professional dispositions form, and that's not specific to this course, but I just wanted to bring it up and show you. This is for people who may be having trouble with a disposition. The professors then will write a note to me, and if I collect 2 of these forms, then I'll call you in and we'll have a conference and try to figure out what you can do to help yourself get better in this certain area. Thanks for listening to this syllabus overview. Like as I said earlier, make sure that you read it in its entirety, and I look forward to having you in class. Thanks again.